notes for my May 2026 solo reading of Permanent Record by Ed Snowden, Edward Snowden. Today's Monday, 25 May 2026, and here I, Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, talk through my book and reading notes for my solo May 2026 reading of an autobiography of a leader in digital frontier meets informational age, technology and diplomacy. Permanent Record by Ed Snowden, full as Edward Snowden. 2019 Metropolitan Books edition, hardcover, ISBN in the video description. I started the book on Wednesday, 13 May 2026, and finished the book on Monday, 25 May 2026 AD. It's 340 pages through the About the Author section. It took me 8 days of reading. 30 pages Wednesday, 13 May. 30 pages Thursday, 14 May. 32 pages Saturday, 16 May, 68 pages Sunday, 17 May, 40 pages Monday, 18 May, 60 pages Saturday, 23 May, 50 pages Sunday, 24 May, and 30 pages Monday, 25 May. All right, so the book is readable, well written. It's a autobiography meets kind of like, as they say, maybe like commentary / perspective. So Edward Snowden worked in intelligence, and he does a good job of providing, so it's full text pages like this, and I guess I'm trying to describe the content of the pages because for me it didn't matter. And because of the nature of his work in like kind of cybersecurity and information and stuff like that, there's like, I'd say like kind of structural, infrastructural, business kind of elements of what he did, but that's kind of paired with his commentary of like kind of how the space was developing and kind of in terms of diplomacy and human rights. But that meets his own lived experience, right? Because he's a human using technology such as, you know, computers and smart devices. Right? It's like it's a unique workspace in that sense, so to be both on the technology side and kind of like what it's being used for, but then also he gets to live it as well. All right, so this book kind of provides that perspective. It's full text pages, so no pictures. So if one's looking for like a lot of breaks and paragraphs and that kind of stuff, no. It's a beefy commentary. It's like a way of phrasing it. Yeah, so it's good. And he's someone I overlapped with. He and I lived in Hawaii at the same time, and he ran from Hawaii. And so it was something, I remember looking online at a particular platform, and I was like looking at it, and I was like, why am I getting this information from this platform? Which this book, and like, I actually remember that in reading this book, because I was like, you know, it was on the ground. That was where I was living, you know, and he ran. And he leaked a bunch of information, and he ran and ended up in Russia, where the term he uses for where he currently is, which is like the court, he's in exile in Russia currently, as of like when this book was written / published currently. All right, so here we go. This is what I typed up. Edward Snowden was the first Ed and or Edward to make my life story with any heft, approximately 2012, 2013, in real life or in fiction. He did so by over 1 year. The only other Ed in the realm of competition was Ed Harris, who I grew up watching. Nowadays, I might go Ed Snowden, #1 Ed, then Ed Harris, #2 Ed. He comes from some of the stuff I learned from this book. So family of military, or relearned, so revisited, family of military and intelligence background for him. Described his freelancer work / business operations as well. He even brought up Bill Gates. I did a good job choosing this and that book in the same batch for a first reading of each. Yeah, they were on the shelf at the same library, and I grabbed them on the same visit to that library. Following the 11 September 2001 attacks, he enlisted in the Army. His height, 5 feet 9 inches, and weight 124 pounds mattered, and he struggled relative to those taller / bigger than him, especially in exercises where he had to carry / transport other Army members on his own. He received an administrative discharge at it would be enlistee level. I guess not enlistee, be trainee. So he enlisted and then they were training. I guess that would be the correct level. Okay. I'm working on it. Musings about military service, and including trying to figure out how might I describe that. Okay. The only person really familiar with the legal system to emotionally support me when I lived in California was Edward Snowden. I have no blood family member with basic legal system guidance proficiency. Yes, so he had a unique structural component, and he, like, because he was a whistleblower on the United States of America government, that was something that actually cropped up a little bit when I lived in California, and so I was like, somehow I'm back to this guy. Our lives continue. So like, he's runs no risk. He got firmly cemented in my life story in multiple states of residency in multiple contexts. And I was like, life works interesting, and he's one of those like oddballs that I'm stuck with, and there is no other option for that spot, nor will there ever be, because it was at the time lived impact in my life story, of severe, of the highest level. Okay. Per the writing / publishing of the book, 2019, it was publishing, he was still kind of in exile. So he had still not been pardoned by the United States of America government. So like, he's exiled and then pardoned for the like court terms, so to speak, to do the where the court meets my life kind of thing. And he ran, quote unquote, in May 2013 to June / August 2013 from Hawaii, where I was living, to Russia / staying in Russia. Yes, so this is I went to a FBI, cyber intelligence talk in 2012, and then he ran and was working for the National Security Administration in 2013, and I was like, I was like, there goes my life story in a different way. But because I was doing programming and coding, and I ended up doing computational condensed matter physics and stuff, and like that origins collided with this whole thing, like including where I was living, like geographically we were in the same area, and it was just like, okay, yeah. So that's one of those me peculiarities, so to speak. Does Dane get Gary Ridgway as a cellmate, and I get Edward Snowden as a cellmate? Teamwork. Do the killers Gary Ridgway and I get put together to make us more docile? So that's revisiting that if I were to do a prison sentence in a men's penitentiary. Yeah, and exile is like where the court, quote unquote, meets like prison settings. So there we go. I'll give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, it was a good one.